Hello and welcome to the Zoom screen overview. In this quick orientation module, we'll have our first look at some of the key features inside Zoom so you can get a better understanding of what Zoom's going to be able to do for you and what you're going to be able to do with Zoom inside of your class. To get started, let's look at the bottom left-hand side of our screen here at the mute and stop video buttons. The mute and stop video buttons are really the audio and video controls. If you'd like to disable or turn off your video or your mic from being heard or seen by others, you need to do so by disabling these buttons down here. We can disable them simply by clicking them. As you can see, you can no longer see my live video. Instead, you see my profile picture. And down here, the icons have been crossed out by this red line, indicating that I'm no longer sharing my video or my audio to the rest of this meeting. To re-enable them, I simply just have to select them once again, and those red lines will disappear. On each of these buttons, they have a small caret indicating that there is a settings window linked to the button. So here we'll find our audio settings. In our audio settings, we have the ability to select the microphone, select a speaker, which either just going to be the ways that you want to communicate and how you want to hear them, and what devices are available to you, depending on what devices are connected to your computer. Down below, we can test our speaker or microphone to just make sure that they've been connected with Zoom before maybe a meeting launches. And down below, we have more advanced audio settings. For now, let's take a look at the video settings as well. Just like the audio, we can select our input device for our camera, as well as we can even come here as a shortcut to choose your virtual background. That's what I have going on right now. So if you ever see someone with one of those virtual backgrounds, this is where they go to set it up, as well as more advanced video settings. Moving over to the security feature. The security feature is a collective of just the settings in Zoom that allow a host to either tighten up or loosen the security of a meeting. These top two settings here, locking a meeting and enabling a waiting room, they prevent unwanted people from getting in your meeting. Enabling a waiting room makes sure that when someone tries to join a meeting, they won't be allowed access until the host gives that individual person permission. Locking a meeting is going to prevent any future participants from joining that meeting. These three options on the lower half of the screen here on our security menu are what we can allow our participants to do. We have the ability to allow or disallow them to share their screens, chat, and be able to rename themselves inside of a Zoom meeting. This can be used to reduce Zoom bombing, but also just to reduce general disruptions to the class. If you see anyone who's taking advantage of the chat feature or sharing their screen, maybe renaming themselves. Moving on to our participants window, that's what we have on the right-hand side of my screen. This here is where you can find a detailed list of all the participants currently in your meeting. As you can see in this meeting, I'm the only one here. We down below have these options to communicate without having to use our microphones. This is good for larger classes that need to answer yes or no questions. They also give participants the ability to raise hands so that the facilitator can know someone either has a question or an answer without everyone coming and opening their mics up all at once. We also have the options to mute all or unmute all. This is just a basket button where we can collect the whole pool and either mute or unmute them, as well as invite people. Now this invitation screen, you'll see they have a few ways that you can invite people to your Zoom meeting. You can use their emails that they can generate for you, either through your default email, Gmail, or Yahoo. We can go through the contacts that maybe you've linked through Zoom, through our Valencia system, as well as we can copy these links here. Now this copy invite link is just the URL, and the copy invitation gives you some more details like those dial-in numbers. Inviting people to the meeting using the code, that code can be found up here. Each meeting has an individual code in which people can dial into. That's how they connect to the Zoom meeting. And now by default, all meetings have meeting passwords, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner here. Now carrying on, trying to move on to the chat here, we want to close out this participants window. Now this can be done in one of two ways. One, we can click this down arrow here to hit close, or we can just come back to the participants button and we can close it that way too. Next we have polls. Polls can be given out during the middle of a meeting. You can see here you can add questions. Questions can either be multiple choice or multiple answer. Polls will actually launch the Zoom in an external browser. This is where you're going to be able to edit your questions, but they can be administered either anonymously, or you can collect the data with everyone's names associated to their answers for things like attendance, which would be great. So that can all be done through polls. The chat feature here is just a generic chat feature. You'd come down here to type your message to the rest of the party. However, if you don't want to just type from me to everyone, you'd need to come down here, and with more participants we have the option of private messages. Private messages allow you to write other classmates or even the instructor privately, allowing the availability for anonymous question asking, with that confidentiality being kept between the professor and the student. After chat, and here we'll close out a chat. After chat, we have screen share. So through the screen share, we have the options to share our desktops. You see I have connected here 2 desktop monitors, so I have screen 1 and screen 2. We have our whiteboard, which is a blank canvas. We can use the annotation tools, which I'll show you in just a moment here, to draw. We have our connect to iPhone and iPad. You may be prompted to install an external driver to be able to do this, but you can definitely connect your iPhone and iPad, or we can do individual windows. So if you have a Word document open, or if you have a PowerPoint, you can actually screen share that document only, which can be found below. The next button that we want to take a look at is our record button. We can record our Zoom sessions simply by selecting the record.
This meeting is being recorded.
And as you can see, our options have changed. Now we have a pause recording button and a stop recording button. And up at the top left, we also have a little indicator by this red flashing dot inside of the cloud. It is saying that we're currently recording. And we have another pause and stop button here as well. Now, if I go ahead and stop this recording,
the recording has stopped.
We'll get another audio prompt letting us know that it's ended. Now, participants get both of those audio prompts that you heard, as well as one more notification. This other notification they get is a pop-up window asking them for permission to be able to record the session. Now, they either have 2 options at that point. They can give approval to the recording, or they can leave the session. So keep that in mind when recording. Students will have to give permission to record a session. Now, moving along to the right, our next button that we have is Breakout Rooms. Breakout Rooms lets us take all the participants currently in our meeting and split them into groups. Now, this can either be done automatically or manually, and you can decide how many rooms you want, but this is great when you want to split a class up for group assignments, let's say. We even have faculty who are currently using this to host their office hours, where they'll have students come in to the main lobby, the main meeting, and one by one, you can break out sessions between just you and the host to handle that student's issues in private, while the rest of the class, you just tell them to hang out in the main lobby and that you'll be right back. That is all for the Zoom screen overview. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.